kind of broader, it's a very broad concept. When normal people talk about motivation, what do we mean when we normally talk about motivation?
It gives us a drive to do something.
Yeah, it's the drive that to get you to do something. Hey, you two, we're in class right now. Thanks. So, the process that leads people to behave. So what does this advertisement have to do with motivation?
Shows you like a desired outcome, and say if you use our product, it can get you here. So that's your end goal motivation.
Yeah, exactly. So it says this is where you want to be, and buying this product will help you get there, right? So this is when like I said, when marketers talk about motivation, take a very kind of broad take on it. Two main theories. There's drive theory, and this is the idea that behavior is caused by the desire to reduce the biologically based unpleasant states of arousal. This is kind of a mouthful and might not make much sense, but who can give me an example of what this might be talking about?
If you're hungry, that's an unpleasant state of biologic arousal, and your fix to it would be eat.
Perfect, yeah. So if you're trying to explain why somebody does something, so why is somebody eating? Well, drive theory provides a nice explanation, right? Which is, right, there's you can kind of think of this as being pushed from inside, right? And you compare that with expectancy theory, which is more being pulled by something else. So there's some exterior or external goal that you're striving for, and expectancy theory sort of explains that kind of behavior. So just another thing about drive theory, another term for it is negative state relief model, which is you do something because you want to stop feeling bad. So there's some kind of, and the best example is, for drive theory, is hunger, right? But there are others too. So loneliness would be one. So we can look at the same behavior and explain it from both drive theory and expectancy theory. We'll say somebody is chatting with the person next to them. You can explain that from drive theory, or you can explain that through expectancy theory. Who's got an explanation for drive theory?
They're lonely, so they have to talk to somebody.
Good. What's an expectancy theory explanation for it?
Maybe you kind of feel expected to talk to the person, kind of like in a taxi, when you feel like you have to talk to a taxi driver.
So when we talk about expectancy theory, there's some goal out there that you're trying to achieve. So you're trying to win something, you're trying to get something that you didn't have before.
It's kind of like you're just bored in class, so you want to find some entertainment.
I don't know that. That would be drive theory, though. That's a good, right? So unpleasant state, I'm bored, gotta get some stimulation.
I think with the lonely example, their expectancy theory would be that they could then have friends.
Yeah, so like a friendship. That would be a good example of expectancy theory. There's some goal out there that you want. Or, a lasting romantic relationship or something, or not lasting either way. It's there's a goal that you're pursuing. You shaking your head?
No, I'm not.
All right, a lasting romantic experience. Expectancy theory, you see this all the time with like health advertisements, especially as it relates to ads. So you've got the ab rocket, the ab coaster, you've got the ab circle probe system. You've got the ab roller, the ab sculptor, ab king pro, you've got the ab lounge XL, the ab flyer, the ab chair, the ab twister, and the ab revolutionizer. All of these are all, they all take the same approach, which is expectancy theory. Now, somebody, just so we're clear on this, somebody explain why this is expectancy theory.
You're expected to get these results if you use those machines.
That's 80% of it.
You will have the positive outcome of having a six-pack.
Yeah, so there's this goal that you're kind of promised, and the idea is you're gonna buy it trying to achieve this, there's this goal that you want. So you're not trying to relieve a negative state. So if you could do an ad for sculpting ads, that would be drive theory, what would that be? How would that advertisement go?
Get rid of fatness.
Okay, good, yeah.
I mean, like, those ad revolutionaries are in the middle. Like, the bottom two pictures are like expectancy theory. They're like you want your body to look like that. But wouldn't the top two be like drive theory? They're like, avoid having this fat stomach like the dude in the picture from before.
So to be sort of a pure drive theory, it would be like, is this how you want to be? And it would just be the fat, right? So this is a little bit mix of both, right? And honestly, I'm just not that impressed with this. That just seems like a tanny bag, and he's sucking nail a little bit. This took place over 2 weeks.
Tops.
All right. So motivation, direction, we talked about kind of where this drive comes from. We can also talk about motivation, direction, because most of the time when we talk about it, we think about trying to approach positive goals. This is an advertisement for what?
Abercrombie.
That's a good guess. Who said Abercrombie? How'd you know?
You see this?
Good answer.
That was accurate.
No, it is. It is Abercrombie.
There's no clothes in it.
Which is right. There's no clothes. It's kind of an odd
They
advertisement.
always do their
black and
ads
white.
in the black and white.
Yeah, that's part of it too, right? That is kind of signature for them, black and white. They just have kind of it's just it's their look. And will you take your headphone out? Yeah. Sorry. That's all right. So this is the idea behind this ad is that you'll want to not everybody, but the idea is that for their target audience, they're gonna want to be like this dude with the super steamy look off to the distance. But then ads will also talk about avoiding a negative goal, right? And we've seen these kinds of ads before where it's like, this is also taking advantage of motivation, but it's not an approach motivation, it's an avoid motivation. This is something you don't want to be like. So like that, the health, all the ads, sculptor ads, those are all kind of approach a positive goal, right? Because they show some kind of goal that most people kind of want. Avoiding negative goals, you're gonna see, so infomercials are great at avoiding negative goals. That's how they frame almost every product, is here's a problem, and this is a problem you want to avoid, right? So kind of we're going to watch a couple minutes of this. Keep in mind this concept of avoiding a negative goal.
Regular people seem so dumb and incompetent.
Do you go through a can of hairspray trying to get that full volumized look?
Another warm, relaxing shower ruined by an empty soap dish and by the dangerous search for a fresh bar.
You want to stay covered after being wet, but your towel just won't let.
Robes are heavy and hot, and towels with fasteners? I think not. Every time your cell phone rings, you've got to find it and then pick it up just to see who's calling. And if you try to prop it up so you can see it, your cell phone's constantly falling.
Are you tired of fussing with giant pasta pots, strainers, timers, stirring and testing just for a plate of pasta? Tired of waiting for a big pot of water to boil, then breaking the pasta to make it fit? When it's time to strain, it can be a pain.
We all love homemade soups and sauces, but who wants to stand in front of the stove for hours stirring? And if you happen to step away, you can end up burning your food.
You can crack 'em this way, you can crack 'em that way, and we've all done this. But no matter how you crack 'em, you always end up picking out eggshells.
You cut, rip, and tear, but your brownies never turn out square. And when they're stuck, you're totally out of luck.
Do bulky storage containers set off an avalanche in your kitchen? Is finding a lid almost impossible? And why is shelf space at such a premium?
You want to keep warm when you're feeling chilled, but you don't want to raise your heating bill. Blankets are okay, but they can slip and slide. And when you need to reach for something, your hands are trapped inside.
Bending over to put your shoes on is a back-breaking chore. One wrong step, you could end up on the floor. And trying to get them off can hurt even more. No more wrinkled clothes trying to get your shoes on. No more scuffing and damaging your shoes trying to get them off.
Tired of all that shopping and all those tears? Squish, squash, smush. You can churn away till your arms fall off, or you can fight with this contraption.
It's impossible to close an open can with a pop top. Open cans spill in the fridge. What a mess.
Does the shoulder strap in your car cut into your shoulder? When you travel, is your shoulder strap too tight and annoying?
Sometimes removing pans from the oven can be too hot to handle. Ouch! Or that dish can slip, causing a big mess.
Everyone knows that laptop computers don't work very well in your lap. They can get hot, uncomfortable, and even fall.
Are you tired of ordinary mops making a wet mess of your floors, pushing messes around, and wasting money on costly disposable pads?
Sleeping on the couch just gets old. You're uncomfortable and your feet are even cold.
Did you ever try to take a shower, but you wound up taking a bath? Do you have a sink that fills when it's supposed to empty? And who wants to wait for an expensive plumber?
Juicing machines with all those confused.
Alright, that's
All these problems I didn't know I had.
Yeah, infomercials are kind of a great example. It's funny because everybody laughs at them, but somebody's buying these things. So that it's, even though they're worthy of our derision, they're also effective.
You probably know a lot more about promotion than I do, but I heard that they would like that because they're advertising to a lot of like mentally handicapped people. I didn't know if that was true or not.
So we talked about segmenting, and I think that they're segmenting here. I wouldn't say handicap, but I would say IQ is a factor in segmenting, right? And this is the same with those with the emails, the spam emails, with the Nigerian prince or whatever. They're better off making them dumb, because that targets a narrow range of people who have lower mental faculties, right?
Someone's grandma has all those products.
Could be someone's grandpa. Alright, negative goals. So motivation conflicts. We talk about approach conflict when there's two things that you want. And you can only have one. So for example, going to dinner, gonna go out to dinner. Somebody name 2 restaurants in Cedar City you'd wanna go to. Magdalena.
Rusty's.
Do they have 2 restaurants? No, I don't know. So 2 restaurants, right?
Yeah.
Pizza Centro maybe, and Denny's.
And Denny's?
Denny's.
Oh, Denny's? Okay, you get half credit. So Centro and Sweet Basil, yeah, those are both respectable. Right, and presumably for most of us, we're gonna stick with 1 dinner rather than 2. And so this is an example of an approach-approach conflict. Both desirable choices, but you can only make one. So there are two things that you want, that's why it's approach-approach. You know, vacations would be another thing, maybe trying to decide between taking summer classes and going on vacation. That's not really much of a dilemma, is it? Or, you know, two vacations you want to take, you can only choose one of those. That would be approach-approach. Approach-avoid is where it's not a conflict between two separate choices. Approach-avoid conflict occurs for one choice, meaning that you both desire it and don't desire it. So an example would be
Sears.
okay, Sears, maybe Sears has the lowest price on something, but you're worried about the customer service. Sort of a more classic example of this would be a product where you wish you didn't want it, but you do want it. What would be an example of that?
McDonald's.
Okay, good. Good example.
Struggle my life.
Yeah, you know, box of donuts or whatever, maybe, what's a good donut place? Krispy Kreme, yeah. By the way, I gotta talk about donuts for a minute. We have donuts here on campus at Outtakes, and I always show up and they've got none of the ones they got maple bars and the apple fritters left. That's too much. I just want a little donut with pink frosting and sprinklies on it. And so I asked them, I was like, hey, can we get more of the sprinklies? She's like, yeah, sure. And so the supplier's Lynn's, and Lynn said, no, you get what you get. We're not gonna custom, you know, you're a customer, but.
They send all the leftovers over here.
That's gotta be it. Seriously, that's gotta be it.
Where's Outtakes?
It's by the rotunda. Anyway, so I'm angry.
Just go straight to Lynn's, they're way better over there.
That's probably what I should do. Anyway, so the pink sprinkly donuts, I both want them and kind of wish I didn't want them, right? Maybe, I don't know, people don't really buy fur anymore, but leather is probably an example. How would leather be an example of?
I love leather, but then I hate it during the summer because I have the black leather, you know, so it gets like scorching hot, or during the winter it gets freezing cold.
Okay,
And
good. Yeah.
melts to it.
Yeah. Also, you know, you might not want to, some people don't feel comfortable killing animals, so that would be part of it too. You both want it and don't want it. That's approach avoid. So sometimes guilt of desire occurs here, where you want it, but you sort of feel bad for wanting it. Better than missing all of class. Avoid is where you have a choice or choice. There's no good choices. So you're, I'll give you an example. This is springtime. We had a big windstorm and damaged our roof, lost a bunch of shingles. And so the question was, do we want to repair it, which is about $800, or do we want to just replace the whole roof, which we need to do in probably 2 or 3 years anyway, which is gonna be like $10,000. So there's no really, both alternatives kind of suck, right? We have to spend $10,000 before we want to, or spend $800 on a roof that we're going to get rid of in 2 or 3 years anyway. So that both kind of alternatives are undesirable. So that's avoid. Classic example is people who have an old beater car. So you get, your choice is what? Fix it or buy a new one, right? That's probably the best example of avoid. You don't really want to fix it, right? Because this car's not gonna last. On the other hand, do you really want to spend that much money to get a new car? That's a good example of avoid. Any other examples of avoid? Oh, yeah. So one thing that marketers, they can kind of anticipate this, right? So they try to make it easy for you. So, you know, instead of, this kind of helps people who are in that situation, want to repair the car, but, you know, because getting a new car is going to be too expensive. So this is why they have, you know, they make it really easy to buy a new car. All right, so consumer involvement is another kind of topic under motivation. And there are lots of different levels of involvement depending on the product and depending on the customer. So, and we'll kind of talk about this in order from low levels of involvement to high levels of involvement. So inertia is consumption at the low end of involvement. And this is where you buy something mostly because you bought it before. Who buys something out of inertia where you're not, you don't really necessarily make a conscious decision to buy that product. It just kind of, it's just habit.
So me and my wife, we buy frozen chicken every time we go to Walmart, and our freezer is full of frozen chicken. But I still buy frozen chicken every time I go to Walmart.
That's a perfect example. Yeah, I think we get that too. We got a lot of frozen chicken. What's another example?
Gas in your car.
And
Gas.
Gas, yeah. Yeah.
I don't care what gas. I mean, a lot of people don't care what gas you can use. Gas.
What's another example of something you just buy purely out of habit?
Insurance.
Reese's.
Yeah, that's good. Donuts, in my case, yeah. So you buy stuff out of habit. So that's the low, and then for some reason, there's some research that shows that cheese, people buy cheese out of habit. Like they get in a brand and they just keep buying the same brand of cheese all the time. That's inertia, which is, it's great if you can be a product that people just buy out of inertia, right? Every time they go to the store, you buy that. That's a great position to be in as a product. Does anyone read? I think some of you in here read that book on habit. You did, right? Do you recall the thing about toothpaste?
Oh yeah, how it never really used to make that stinging sensation.
Yeah.
But they put it in there so people would remember that they like that.
Yeah. So yeah, they put this. It's actually an irritant, but they put it in there to create the habit, right? Because you've got that very distinctive feeling once you brushed your teeth, and that sort of is what made brushing your teeth kind of take off as a toothpaste take off as a consumer product.
Foaming agent was one too.
Oh, the foaming? Oh yeah, because it looks, yeah.
That's only in American markets though, right?
I think so. I don't know. Yeah, has anyone bought, I know that Chinese toothpaste, that had the misfortune of trying some this summer. It tastes like baking soda and salt.
Is there any reason why one country, since it's specific to us, why it works that way for us? Like,
I don't know.
why we want that?
I don't know. I don't know what it is culturally that makes us want an irritant in our, but.
Is there a lot of like different brands of toothpaste in other countries? Like if there's only one brand and they're like, okay, you don't have a different choice, you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
So cause like in America, there's so many different choices of toothpaste, you gotta do something to be different.
Yeah, my understanding of the toothpaste market is not what it should be.
Aren't we all a little low in the toothpaste market?
All right, so one step up from inertia is situational involvement, and this is where you have a temporary interest or involvement with the product, and usually product category. So, and this is where you might become interested in, say, real estate or an appliance. Why would you become temporarily interested in real estate? When you need to buy a house, and then you buy the house, you're suddenly less interested in real estate. Same with appliances and.
To make sure that you're getting a good deal.
Yeah, so the idea is, this is typically almost always pre-purchased. You're interested in something, so you become interested, you're interested in buying something, and so you do some research temporarily. We call that situational involvement. Kind of one step up from that is enduring involvement. This is where you have ongoing interest and you enjoy consumption. Be eager to consume. So this would be like video games where it's not, the difference between situational involvement and enduring involvement is you're still interested in video games, after you buy one. Celebrity magazine, what's another example here? What's another example of a product where you experience enduring involvement, meaning you're interested in this kind of year round?
Investment?
Investments, good, that's a good example. What's another one? Financial products?
Cable.
Sports?
Cable.
Sports? Cable?
That's what I said. I said cable because you sign up for Xfinity and then you use the product literally every single day after you buy it.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
And you can pay for it.
Yeah.
For that one, wouldn't it be like, if you were interested, if that was an enduring involvement, you'd be like Googling differences between Dish and DirecTV year round?
Well, so that's more entertainment and TV, right? That's kind of that's actually what gets you excited. It's not the cable company, because everybody hates their cable company, right? It's the entertainment experience.
Okay.
That's where the enduring involvement is, right? And so yeah, you find shows you enjoy. That's a great example of enduring involvement.
The automotive industry has a niche of very dedicated consumers.
Yeah, so keep going with that.
So not everyone in this room has enduring involvement with buying a car, but there are a pretty large percent of the population that is always researching cars, and even though they may not be in the market to buy a car, they still are interested in it.
Yeah, so I think probably especially sports cars and trucks, you're gonna find a lot of enduring involvement where this is something, a lot of people know a lot about trucks, just because that's something they like, and same with sports cars. You might not be in the market to buy one, but you're interested in sports cars. Another thing is, be like off-road stuff, motorcycles and ATVs and stuff like that.
Aftermarket parts.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. People get into that, and they're interested in it year round. So that's enduring involvement. One level above is emotional involvement. So deep personal interest that evokes strongly felt emotions. And the differences between enduring involvement and emotional involvement are not always super clear, but here's my kind of, if it's something you get in a fight over, it's probably emotional involvement. Right, so sports, depending on the sports team, so a lot of people it's enduring involvement, for other people it's emotional involvement, like your team does poorly. This is, my dad's a diehard Utah fan, and the thing I remember growing up is that when the Utes lost, it wasn't like miserable for an hour, it was the whole frickin' weekend. Because Utah lost, which they did all the time back then, because the whole weekend was shot, right? That's emotional involvement. Harley's another example. Soccer, probably more in Europe than in the US. People get really emotional about it. Your team loses, it's more than it's more than just, you're not just pissed off for a few minutes after, it's like a deeply felt loss, right? That's emotional involvement.
When does it change from a product to like a theory? So emotional involvement could be like religions or politics, etc.
Yeah, there's a lot of overlap there, and I don't typically like to talk about the marketing side of religion because it's more than just a product. Although every major religion has dedicated marketers, so I try to just kind of keep hands off that topic.
Good, cool, great.
All right. Identity marketing, so this is kind of at the extreme end. So consumers, this is where you alter some aspect of your personality for a branded product. This is going back a ways, and I haven't seen this in recent years, but there's a video game maybe 10 years ago, maybe not that long, called Turok, or one of the characters was named Turok, and the marketing agency that was responsible for the product launch paid people to legally change their name to Turok. So what's the upside of that? Why would they do that?
It's like free marketing for the company. I mean, I was just thinking a really similar thing when the Star Wars movie came out last year. They had like on Facebook the possibility to get your profile picture to look like a Star Wars picture, and in the end effect, I thought it's like free marketing for them because you're still like sharing the Star Wars vibes.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great example of this. This is typically when we talk about identity marketing, it's more lasting than that, but that's a good example because you are kind of altering your persona on behalf of a brand, so that would fit that. So the main kind of upside to this would be you're going to get in the paper, right? People are going to talk about this company that's paying people to change their name, and so there's some kind of PR benefit that way. But a lot of this is done voluntarily. This is, of all the brands, this is the most often tattooed brand is Harley. Anyone want to guess what number 2 is? You won't guess, but.
Playboy Bunny.
Playboy Bunny, it's probably pretty good. Yeah, so I don't think we talked about that in this class, but in my marketing principles class, we talk about the 80-20 rule, where 20%, who knows what that is?
When 20% of the market stands for 80% of the
Yeah.
part, yeah.
Yeah, so 20% of your customers account for 80% of your revenue. For Budweiser, it's 1.4%. So 1.4% of their customers account for 80% of their revenue. These people are like dedicated, hardcore.
That's a great thing.
Yeah. So and they probably Budweiser should give them a free tattoo after a while.
Just free beer.
Here's another good example of identity marketing.
Guns N' Roses has a Facebook page for all their tattoos.
Oh, really?
So if you get a Guns N' Roses tattoo, you can get on their Facebook page.
Oh, that's a great example. Do you have one?
I don't have one.
The stimulus special at Casa Sanchez in the Mission comes with a side of pain. The new promotion here promises if you ink the restaurant's logo, Jimmy the Corn Man, somewhere on your body, you get a free lunch for life.
The tattoo's for life, so the lunch should be for life too.
And lunch, any kind of lunch?
Anything you want. As long as it's once a day, even if it's not on the menu, we have the ingredients, we'll make it.
I'm really under the needle. Tim Collins is making space on his crowded canvas. Or an ankle coupon.
The amount of money you're spending on the tattoo, will you ever make up for the free lunches?
I'm gonna give my best shot. The family-owned restaurant on 24th Street tried this before, back in '99. 50 people tatted up for a similar promotion that could have cost the Sanchez family millions. But most of those folks either got tired of Mexican food every day or simply decided not to take advantage. Now they're hoping a new group of customers will spend the $100 to $200 to become a burrito billboard.
I get a full body tattoo for just a burrito up the street.
You would do that?
I would do that.
And the deal is simple enough. Show the tattoo, get the free lunch. But not everybody has to show it.
Hey, right there in the armpit.
Not if you keep your Jimmy the Corn Man in a discreet location.
They pretty much know my order too, so I just walk in, give them a nod, and the food comes pretty darn soon. You want me to show?
We have this thing, if you're attractive, you show it every time. And if not, you can just show it once and they'll remember.
Oh, you're expecting and then some, right? Jimmy the Corn, there we go. Mark for life.
Joe Vasquez, CBS 5.
Let's go.
On my face, sure.
That's not a bad idea.
I mean, I'll do it.
I don't know about free tuition, but maybe like.
Let's do half.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, somebody bring this up to the president.
So would that, be the same for like military tattoos?
I don't think so. I mean, you would maybe know better than I would.
I mean, well, it's not really a product, you know, like I have
Yeah.
a Fidelis tattoo, which is the Marine Corps motto, but it's not a product.
It's not, but it's certainly, you know, the idea is kind of that's part of your identity. So I would say probably more yes than no. I think there's a lot of overlap there, but I think that's kind of a special case. Kind of like religion, it seems a little crass to equate it to a product.
I think with military tattoo is more personal. You're not getting anything from the military, it's like getting a tattoo saying blah, 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 but it's more personal to you.
Yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it. So here's another example of identity marketing. This is New Zealand Airlines did this. You had to put it on your head. But they gave everybody who did this free round trip airfare to New Zealand, which is probably it's probably $2,000 on average. But then you've got a tattoo on your head.
Can you grow your hair out after you do this?
I assume you can.
Is it for life?
MBD.
Or is it like one
No, it's one trip. It's one trip. One round trip. Who would do this?
I do the burrito one.
So yeah, I can't do the burrito one. Well, because the burrito is not shown too. See, Hollister has to be a place where people can see it, so it's free advertising.